Welcome to the Berkeley Climate Change Network podcast. I'm Bruce Reardon. I'm the director of the BCCN. And today we are going to spotlight the Bakar Labs for Energy and Materials with our special guests, three of them: David Schaffer, director, Jeremy Alberga, the chief operating officer, and Shilpi Kumar, director of partnerships. Welcome, Dave. Welcome, Jeremy. Welcome, Shilpi.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Bruce.
Nice
Thanks
to
for
have
having
you
us.
here. Okay, before we talk about the what and all of Baker Labs for Energy and Materials, let's talk about you first. How did each of you get to Berkeley? Give us a short version of your backstory. Dave, start with you.
Sure. I've been here almost half my life now, and the first half of my life I bounced around many, many places. Originally born in Latin America, then went to Pennsylvania, Alabama, New Jersey, Palo Alto, Illinois, Boston, San Diego, and then finally landed in Berkeley. And what I think that was telling me is that I finally arrived home. You know, if I ended up living in 10 different places for the first half of my life and been here entirely continuously for the second half, then this is my home, and I plan to stay here for the rest of my career.
Great. Thanks, Dave. Jeremy, your brief backstory here.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Appreciate you having us today. So I came to Berkeley, UC Berkeley, just 2 years ago. It's actually just past 2 years now. As Chief Operating Officer, I have lived in the city of Berkeley for 16 years, so I've admired what's happening at the university for that amount of time. And I was really honored to join the team 2 years ago after a 25-year career in global health. So, what makes me so passionate about what we're trying to do here is tackling issues. I've worked all over the world as part of that 25-year career, seeing the impact of climate change on public and global health, from waterborne diseases to the increase of vector-borne diseases, etc. All the different ways that climate change is impacting health. So this is a real pleasure to come over here and work on this particular project.
Great, thanks. Shilpi, you're the newest to the
Yeah,
gang here. What's your story?
I just hit a year at Berkeley. I'd say it's been really exciting to be in an environment with so much research and emphasis on science and students. I spent the last 15 years or so in the startup world working on, first early stage hardware, working on early stage manufacturing and devices, and trying to figure out how we can, digitize and upgrade our industrial world. And after spending a little too much time making things efficient, I started becoming really preoccupied with sustainability and the impacts of climate and waste, and sort of have spent the last 8 years moving all of the focus of building new solutions and working with technology over to how we use that and leverage those new systems as solutions for climate problems and problems that are kind of even getting worse with the increasing disasters and warming. And that's looked like being an early employee at a startup. I worked as an investor for the last 5 years at an early stage fund. And so it's been exciting to kind of devote that type of network and background to Berkeley and what we can build with Bakar Labs.
Great. Well, welcome and great to have you all here and to be hearing today a little bit now about Baker Labs for Energy and Materials. So let's start with the why. Why create Baker Labs? What was the point? What was the gap you were trying to fill?
Sure, maybe I can provide some thoughts on that. So Baker Labs as a whole, as you know, encompasses both biotechnology and now more recently climate technology. And it was originally started, conceived of around 8 years ago or so. And really, the mission is that universities are engines of innovation, especially Berkeley, and invention and discovery. And in order for those discoveries to have an even broader impact on the world, it's important to get them to scale them, to get them into a company that can turn them into a solution for problems that we're all facing in the society and the world as a whole. We initially started doing that with the focus on human health within the biotech incubator that we currently have that's in the former art museum on campus. and have been, thrilled that we've helped out 55 companies now that are growing, successfully fundraising, creating jobs, stimulating the local economy, and to us, very importantly as well, creating therapeutics that can help people who have diabetes, Parkinson's, infectious disease, as well as a number of other conditions. So around 4 years ago or so, based upon that the success with that initial foray, we began to identify obviously another set of problems that the world is facing, another existential challenge, which is not human health but planetary health, and started talking about the concept of forming another incubator that can take on that mission. The campus, again, in this area is incredibly innovative and inventive, and we wanted to set this up as a service to the University of California, and to the state of California, essentially as an amplifier to increase the positive impact of university research on society by enabling those inventions and discoveries to turn into technologies that can mitigate climate change. So we're well on our way to doing this, as I think Shilpi is going to talk a little bit about, and thrilled to enable that community as much as we can.
Great. Jeremy, add to
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to add to what Dave said. Based on, probably 5 or 7 years now of just the extraordinary growth of the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem here at Berkeley, we have, led by Dave and now Chancellor Lyons, Darren Cook, and others, we've really shown the importance of how many incredible ideas are on campus that really need the types of technical systems assistance to make them flourish. That is also through the munificence of the state of California government through QB3. We've really been able to work with partners across campus through the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem and use these resources to sort of knock on doors and find those technologies. So this has been the example shown by Baker Biolabs is such a wonderful example to build on. So this has just been a really nice way to kind of the last 5 years has been so successful. I think through Dave and the funders and our partners on campus have been able to say, well, there are other verticals here that we need to work on, and let's use that successful template in the same way.
Great. Excellent. Okay, Shilpi, we're going to talk a little now about how does the program work and some examples of some of the startups and people that you're working with.
Yeah, happy to share more. So, we actually are probably a series of programs as a way to think about it. So we support students with interest in translating their skills to working with startups. We have programs for them. We have programs for postdocs and PhDs and PIs who are exploring what it would look like to translate their research. And so some who have an entrepreneurial bent and want to sort of explore that through a grant and trying to de-risk it and get enough data. So some training that we can do there and help matching them with the right types of teams and advisors. And then once companies are incorporated, they have some funding, they're ready to sort of have a landing pad. And we sort of can take people in at any stage in this kind of early stage development process. So they don't have to be coming out of Berkeley, they can come from anywhere. We work with those companies to sort of build the right lab space that really suits their needs. We have a community of other entrepreneurs and other early stage team members who are trying to enter these new markets. And during our pilot program right now, we have about 10 companies spread out across 2 or 3 places on campus, including the Baker Biolabs. And these companies are working on lots of different types of solutions. There's a company called GigaCrop, which is improving photosynthesis and efficiency in crops, and really trying to make sure that plants can convert sunlight to biomass more effectively. And so that has implications for food systems and land use and carbon efficiency. And they have roots at UC Berkeley. And so as they've kind of gone through their journey, we're able to help connect them out. They've raised funding, they're kind of building their team. And Baker Labs is kind of a good place for them to stay close to their connections on campus. And then we also play another role. So there's a company called Transition Metal Solutions, which they're developing. It's a biological process, but they have an approach for recovering critical minerals, usually in copper mining, using a sort of customized additive to a lot of these processes in copper heaps. And it's an important part of our kind of mineral ecosystem to get the most of these valuable resources where we can. And so they, are coming from outside the Berkeley ecosystem. They've been growing in the Bay Area, their latest funding round, and really needed a place to grow their team to further their research. And so they have both lab space with us and are doing some of their testing, and we're helping them connect with some of their early commercial customers. And so they have also really benefited from having some student interns, from being able to kind of tap into a lot of the resources on campus that were new to them. And so both, I like to think our programs help folks at Berkeley and at LBNL, connect with the world beyond these really impressive ecosystems, and also, the folks that can really benefit from the academic environment and from a lot of the talent and research here connect in.
How long do these companies or individuals work with you typically so far?
I think it really depends on the company and where we meet them in their journey. So some of we're running a spin out boot camp that's coming up. So some of them, it's from like the earliest stages of idea, and hopefully we'll be with them through our journey. Our new building opens in 2 years. And so we're doing a lot to understand the ecosystem that's coming into these new solutions, and try to find that. Once companies are moved into the incubator, they're usually there for 2 or 3 years. They can sort of renew as needed. So we don't have a fixed timeline, but it really, has to do with the momentum of the company and where when is the right time for them to sort of, move out on their own. We really try to keep companies that have a lot of momentum and sort of create an environment where there's a lot going on. And then, what's true is we're also supporting companies, or sort of supporting researchers where they want to translate their research to impact, but they're doing so through IP licensing, connecting direct to industry, finding other pathways that aren't always the startup path.
Great. Dave, add to that?
Yeah, Shilpi did a wonderful job describing our pilot program. And the idea there is that, as you know, we have a Baker Biolabs building on the campus already, which incubates 30 companies, including some agricultural technology companies that you would consider to be, climate tech companies. And within 2 years, we're going to be opening up a brand new building that's currently under construction. We're Oxford, right on Oxford, where university hits the campus. And that's going to be 150,000 square feet of space that will house somewhere we estimate around 60 companies working on energy and materials and climate technologies. But the world's getting warmer every day. We don't want to wait 2 years to really launch this program. So as Shilpi described, we have a pilot program where we're trying to onboard as many companies as we possibly can into space that we can access right now. So it includes, as Shilpi mentioned, 3 locations around campus. So we're hoping to get to maybe 15 companies or so that we have a strong critical mass. We can begin to get the word out there that the new building is going to be open, and effectively use that pilot program to advertise for the future offering. And so that when the door opens up in 2 years, we can slide a bunch of companies into it and hopefully, very rapidly fill up and, take full advantage of the opportunity to help climate technology companies try to help the environment.
This is a good segue to the question we ask everybody on the BCCN podcast is, where do you want to be in 5 years? You guys have a pretty straightforward answer that you've already hinted at. Tell us a little more about where you see the program going in 5 years, and a little more maybe about the new building. Very exciting down on Oxford. So anyone, Dave, Jeremy, Shilpi, start on that one.
Jeremy, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll actually not talk about the building and maybe talk about where we want to be in 5 years from a kind of a relational perspective. I think a lot about, as part of my role, is thinking a lot about collaborations. And I would like to think of this building as the Baker Climate, the Baker Labs for Energy and Materials to be the place in the United States, if not at the very least in the Bay Area, for climate tech companies to be. We have a lot of work to do. We're very well known in the biosector. We have a lot of work to do and get the word out across the country and frankly globally that folks know who we are. And I'd like to be able to be not just a place for companies to be, but to serve as a hub for the entire Bay Area, certainly for the UC Berkeley community, to gather and talk about climate issues, whether from art to policy to economics to obviously technologies. And then lastly, I'm really excited about what's happening across the Bay Area in this space, and that means continuing to collaborate and make sure that we are working extremely closely with Lawrence Berkeley National Labs, with the Activate program, and host the other universities across the Bay Area. Of course, that includes Davis from an ag tech perspective. It includes UC Santa Cruz, Stanford, etc. So I'm really thinking about making sure that we are pulling the best technologies out of the universities, that we're collaborating closely with what the extraordinary research going on up the hill at Lawrence Berkeley Labs, working with Activate and other accelerators, and just making sure that in 5 years from now, that we're sort of humming and everyone knows who we are, and we are the place to be from a climate tech perspective.
Excellent. Talk a little about the building, though. We got the program. The building's very exciting, and
Yeah.
let's hear a little more about it.
Sure, happy to tell you more. So, one of the things we're excited about is that it'll have really flexible space for the companies to sort of, build the right type of prototyping environment that they need. So it has wet labs, there's a maker space, lots of similar types of conference rooms and phone booths. And we have two symposium spaces and a cafe on the ground floor, lots of gathering space. There's a connection to the building next door that we're partnered on with IGI. And so there'll be some outdoor space for a corridor. But what we've learned from, the sort of other incubators in a similar field is that what we can offer the best to companies is the most flexibility. And so we're really designing for each company to be able to carve out the type of space that they need and then also grow there as they have more team members, as they have larger prototypes. The scale up phase is really difficult if there isn't a place to do that testing or to bring in the right equipment. We're working with industry partners in conversation and bringing on some affiliates as well to help us shape the exact, specifications of each of the equipment areas and making sure we have stuff that's going to meet a really diverse group of companies' needs. I hope that we'll have lots of, as Jeremy said, an interdisciplinary set of conversations on campus that are serving the startups, but are also, connecting us all to the broader problem so we don't stay too siloed in sort of one approach to how we work on it.
Right.
And
Dave?
also mentioned, the building is going to be specifically 146,000 square feet of space, 5 stories above grounds, 1 story below the lower level. And it's going to contain, as Shilpi mentioned, a pretty broad range of state-of-the-art space, laboratory space, conference space, office space. And in addition, as a whole, we're an organization whose mission is to serve the needs of the university. So this is Berkeley's incubator. So we're very thrilled to be able to help investigators on the campus advance their technologies further. And also, as we have seen with the biotech building, our conference space is actually also a great service to the university. We're going to have, state-of-the-art 200-person auditorium space with social space, places where you can have poster sessions, for example. So we want to offer that to the campus community as well, and we hope it becomes kind of a natural place for people who have a strong interest in climate change to convene and to hold meetings. Even if it's not directly related to the incubator itself, we want to be able to host campus groups that are interested in convening.
Great, that'll be very helpful. I think it's great that you're housed now or headquartered now in the old art museum, and then you'll be down on Oxford soon, or in a couple of years, next to the new art museum and Pacific Film Archives and all of that down there. It's going to be exciting to watch your building come up out of the ground and grow. And folks, those of you in the audience, if you want to follow it, just just across Oxford there, across from the little half circle on the west side of the campus.
And the best way to stay tuned on what we're doing until the building opens, we're going to be quite busy and have lots of activity. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Baker Labs for Energy and Materials, and we also have a newsletter link on our website. I think BCCN does a great job of distributing a lot of the work we're doing as well.
Good, and that was going to be my last question. So thanks, Shilpi. We got that. Now, should they contact you, Shilpi, if they want a person right away? Are you the best person to start with?
Yeah, there's an interest form on our website, and so if you fill out the form, the contact form will make sure that you get connected to the right program, and we'll get back to you.
Great.
And the overall website is just bakerlabs.org, simply BAKAR labs.org.
Got it. It's one of the better looking websites, I must say, on campus. So thank you, Dave. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Shilpi, for telling us all about Baker Labs for Energy and Materials. And thank you all out there for listening. This is Bruce Reardon for the BCCN, and we will see you next time on the BCCN podcast. Thanks.